This is a eye-opening report for some of the folks that were in the dark for the last 4 years, but for us who were telling everybody and had expert professionals on our program saying the distancing isn't science, the masks don't keep the particles out, the spike protein in the mRNA is killing people. We were right, and this report proves it?
Yeah, Dan, I think what this report does is it validates people like you and I who were saying from the beginning, hey, I kept literally metadata studies on masks on my desk so I could tell people this doesn't work. And just all of this, everything, the 6 foot, I would ask people, why do you think a hula hoop is going to keep you safe? And we would go through the lab leak. And what it boils down to is you can sum this up very succinctly by saying your government lied to you so it could have control over you. Yikes. That's what took place. This report validates that finding, the position you and I were taking. I mean, I did podcasts. I was on with you. We did all kinds of people. Jay Bhattacharya, who's going to be hopefully the new director of NIH, he told us how bad this was. And we worked so hard to inform the American people, but we were suppressed at every turn. So when I see something like this, I say, at least vindication, at least and at last vindication.
Is anyone going to be held accountable? Hey, Dan, why don't you go harder on the members of Congress? Well, Andy's my friend, but I'll go hard on Andy today. Andy, you're part of the government. Why didn't government officials like you and others that were sounding the alarm bell have any control to stop this crap from happening? And obviously, that's the past. I can't change it. Is anyone going to pay now in the present and the future who did this garbage, like the Democrat governors and some Republican ones who locked us all down, who damaged my child, millions of people's children who were locked down and now have social awkwardness and problems in their grades and you name it, the health problems we caused with the myocarditis on young people and women's wombs that we destroyed forever. I mean, somebody's ass has to pay, Andy.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to give you 2 things. Number 1, I think that Mr. Fauci needs to be held culpable. I think he is the guy who's the most culpable here. He has basically come out and admitted he lied on social distancing. We've got all kinds of indications that he was not telling the truth. I mean, it was effectively, in my opinion, it was certainly unethical, if not illegal, to do gain of function research and for us to pay for it. By the way, it's my understanding that they're still paying for gain of function research. And for people who don't know what that means increasing lethality and virility of a virus, so that you can actually spread it faster and make it deadlier. People who were fighting people like me and you, they got reelected, Dan.
That's a good point.
They got reelected. And so my big deal is our number one thing that we can do is take away money. I have tried to get rid of the World Health Organization. I've tried to defund it, get us out of the World Health Organization. Reduce funding for NIH, reduce funding for CDC, get us out of CDC. But you know what? I can't even get a hearing on it. And I'm telling you, you get the government you deserve. So if you're pissed off, maybe you should say, hey, we need to elect new people who go back there and are going to actually hold people accountable and reduce funding, which is the #1 way that you motivate people in Washington, D.C., is you take away their funding.